Mandela Effect.
There are people alive in that universe that aren't alive in our universe.
From its location on a former temple to Apollo, to statues of the Hindu god of destruction, strange rituals, and bizarre videos. Join me as we search for the real truth behind the Large Hadron Collider and the secrets of CERN. Does something seem off to you? They can't put their finger on it, but thousands of people have the feeling that something is just not right, that the world we currently inhabit is somehow different. Is it just the stress of modern life, or could we actually be living in the Twilight Zone? As far out as it may sound, there may be more truth to that idea than we would like to believe. Parallel dimensions, portals, reality changes are not only the stuff of science fiction. According to physicists, there exist parallel dimensions, each containing alternate versions of our world and even ourselves. A little bit of deeper research reveals that not only do scientists at CERN hope to discover proof of these parallel dimensions, they want to open portals into them so that something from that other world can come into ours. Could such a doorway have already been created? If so, how would we know? What signs might be noticeable in our everyday lives? In the Twilight Zone episode, The Parallel, written by Rod Serling, NASA attempts to send an astronaut into space, but instead, unknowingly, he ends up in a parallel dimension. A world almost exactly like the one he left, except for a few minor differences. In the present dimension, he's a colonel. In the past dimension, he was a major. His house in the present dimension, for example, has a fence. The previous one did not. Minor changes that to all those around him had always been that way.
What do you mean?
That fence wasn't there when I left last week.
Are you kidding me? That fence was there when we bought the house.
Today, thousands of people have the strange feeling the world we currently inhabit has changed. They point to specific names, events, and things they insist are now different. The growing phenomena took off online, earning the moniker the Mandela Effect. The phenomena was first noted in 2009 by paranormal investigator Fiona Broom, and gets its name from the African civil rights leader Nelson Mandela, who many remember as having died in the 80s, only to learn to their dismay that their memories were false and he actually lived to be released from prison and become president of South Africa. A Mandela effect is when collective memories long held by masses of people turn out to be incorrect or false. Those affected have distinct memories of something or an event, only to find out that it never was that way, at least not in this dimension.
It's something that sticks with people. They know they remember it. They remember talking about it with their aunt, or, like in the Nelson Mandela situation, they remember seeing the funeral on TV day after day after day, the coverage. And it's something that just does not seem to go away. So that's what makes the Mandela effect different from simply forgetting where you left your keys so many times when you come home from work.
In the movie Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back, think of Darth Vader's iconic line. If you remembered, "Luke, I am your father. You may be one of the millions worldwide suffering from this bizarre new phenomenon."
It's only you killed him. No, I am your father.
But if you remembered him saying, "Luke, you're in good company," here's a clip of James Earl Jones, the actor who actually said the line, also remembering it that way.
When I first saw the dialogue that said, "Luke, I am your father. Luke, I am your father," I said to myself, he's lying. I wonder how they're going to play that lie out.
Which picture of the Monopoly Man looks most correct to you? If you chose the one with the monocle, you just experienced a Mandela effect. Do you remember a movie called Shazam, in which the actor Sinbad played a genie? In this reality, the movie never existed and Sinbad never played a genie, despite thousands of people having similar memories of it. And that certainly hasn't stopped the actor from being inundated with tweets about this phantom movie. The children's book series The Berenstain Bears, for instance, many remember being spelled Berenstein Bears. Other classic examples include the long-quoted line from the movie Forrest Gump, "Life is like a box of chocolates." What if I told you that line was never in the movie? Rather, the real line is, "Life was like a box of chocolates." Don't believe me? Check it out for yourself.
My mom always said life was like a box of chocolates. Life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get.
And it extends far beyond mere movie lines. Even Bible verses are said to have changed. So what does all this have to do with CERN and the Large Hadron Collider? Could the experiments taking place there have inadvertently or even deliberately messed with our space-time, creating what we call the Mandela Effect? How so? According to theorists, it's possible that a shift in gravity produced by the Large Hadron Collider could create a rift in the veil between our universe and a parallel universe.
This is getting confusing. Why don't we call our universe Universe A and this universe Universe B?
Hey, why can't we be Universe A?
Yeah. We won the best letter. We called it first. Besides, this place kind of feels like a B, you know?
Who's to say that when you mess with the fabric of the universe, you don't also affect time itself? And the only evidence that this was happening would be minor changes in the world around us, just like Major Robert Gaines in the Twilight Zone episode. Did Rod Serling really predict what we call the Mandela Effect back in 1963?
It's unimportant. It's insignificant, really. And yet it all seems to be part of some sort of crazy pattern.
Could the changes Mandela Effect sufferers are experiencing actually be evidence we're in a parallel dimension? Some theorists think so, and have uncovered evidence they believe indicates CERN is responsible. November 2014, a weird video featuring CERN scientists and students dancing along to the song Happy by Pharrell was uploaded to YouTube. But it wasn't until much later that the video sparked a flurry of controversy and speculation among the Mandela Effect community. One scientist in particular, John Ellis, a renowned physicist, is seen with two signs around his neck, one that reads Bond number 1. The other clearly has Mandela on it. Researchers theorize that the sign that says Bond number 1 is a sly reference to the actor that played James Bond in the first Bond film, a man named Barry Nelson. When put together, the signs equal Nelson Mandela. It is important to note that this video was made in 2014, before the Mandela Effect gained notoriety online. If that is just a coincidence, it's a very eerie one. But is there another tie-in to the Mandela Effect in James Bond? In the classic Bond film Moonraker, the villain Jaws, who has metal teeth, falls in love with a character named Dolly. Mandela Effect sufferers remember her as having braces. The iconic scene cuts between Jaws smiling